So my name is John Malcolm, and I have the privilege of serving on the Legal Services Corporation's Board of Directors. And it's now my privilege and my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon, who represents Pennsylvania's 5th District, which includes a large swath of Philadelphia. I'll find out later whether my daughter lives within your district. Congresswoman Scanlon is one of Legal Aid's strongest champions in Congress and has been serving as a champion for LSC since she was first elected in 2018. As chair of the Congressional Access to Legal Aid Caucus and as a leader of the annual bipartisan appropriation support letter for LSC, she is a strong and steady advocate for ensuring that our low-income neighbors have access to the legal services that they so desperately need. Congresswoman Scanlon has dedicated her career to serving the most vulnerable as a lawyer and now as a member of Congress. Before she was elected, she served as an attorney for the Education Law Center. She was president of her local school board, and she was co-chair of the Voting Rights Task Force of the Association of Pro Bono Counsel. Currently, Congresswoman Scanlon serves on the House Judiciary Committee and on the Committee on Rules. Aside from chairing the Legal Aid Caucus, she also chairs the Youth Mentoring Caucus and the Caucus on Foster Youth. She has been a valuable supporter of Legal Services Corporation for years, speaking at LSC events and even appearing on Talk Justice, which is LSC's podcast, to discuss access to justice issues. We are delighted that she has taken time out of her busy schedule to join us today. Please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon.
It's so nice to be with this group of people here in DC. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for having me here today. It's such a great group of former colleagues and people I hope to have as colleagues as we move forward here. Also grateful to be with so many of the people who've been speaking, the stories that we've heard, including, of course, Special Envoy Kennedy, who started the Access to Legal Aid Caucus, and it's my honor to have succeeded him in chairing that caucus, and Ken where we also share the opportunity, the wonderful history of having started our legal careers in Philadelphia with the amazing legal services community there and the robust pro bono world that has existed there. So it's really wonderful to be here. I know that some of my former colleagues in the public interest world from Philadelphia are here, folks from Philadelphia Legal Assistance. I was on their founding board when it had to split from Community Legal Services as a result of some congressional misaction back a couple decades ago. And I think there's folks here as well from Legal Aid of Southeastern Pennsylvania, which I have 3 counties that are involved in that as well. So it's great to have everyone here. I'm mostly grateful for the advocacy that all of you do every day. I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your schedules to come to DC and meet with members of Congress, because I think it's really critical that they hear about the importance of legal aid, not just to their individual clients and their constituents, but also its importance to our communities and the actual functioning of a civil society. So at a time when the rule of law is under attack, particularly from people who should know better, and we should expect to uphold and support the courts and our legal system and the guardrails of our democracy, I think the work of folks in legal services is more important than ever. Your convening at the Capitol brings a gravitas to the issue that is difficult to ignore, and you have compelling stories to tell. You all know how important the work of the Legal Services Corporation is and how grossly underfunded it is. You know that access to justice is not a reality in this country, with the justice gap continuing to grow while LSC funding has not kept pace. But many of my colleagues, even those who are generally supportive of the idea of legal aid, don't know this, and you can help draw their attention to it. Legal aid benefits constituents in every member's district, so please try to draw those local connections when you interact with those members. when you meet with the members or their staffs, and whether that connection is a connection of geography of their constituent clients, or it's about the connection to an issue that the member cares about. And I heard that some folks here had some really good conversations with members of the Judiciary Committee and others who they might not have expected to have such great conversations, but they were able to draw connections to things that those members cared about, like veterans or opioid issues. So where possible, stress the economic benefits of your work, the money saved, the benefits gained to their community. We all know that legal services have the capacity to change lives, and for too long, we haven't been able to share that word with enough people. That's why in my time in Congress, I've been trying to advocate for more funding and resources for LSC and other legal services programs, but I've also tried to develop some tools so that other representatives can integrate legal aid services into their constituent casework more thoroughly and thereby understand the importance of that work to their communities. If any of the offices you meet with, whether your time on the Hill or when you're back in district, if they seem receptive, please tell them about the training module that our office put together to help constituent services staff collaborate with local legal services in order to drive better outcomes for more constituents. Obviously, our legal services attorneys have a deeper knowledge about particular issues that are impacting our low-income neighbors than many, many constituent service reps. So they can get information there. We've done a lot of joint sessions where we've had members of legal services come in and help educate our communities about things like pandemic unemployment insurance or the impact of a new Social Security regulation. So we think that's really important. It helps our members of Congress understand better the importance of legal aid, but it also is able to leverage everybody's outreach and get better results for more people. So I am proud to co-lead the letter to the appropriators again this year, calling for robust funding for legal services, and your presence on the Hill is a big help there. I am also eternally grateful to those members of the corporate community who've supported legal services and pro bono services. I used to be pro bono counsel in a large firm, and having our corporate clients on board was a huge boon. I suspect that it's a big boon as well in the political world, so thank you for your engagement. I'd also like to call on this group to think critically about how we engage people, young people today, because we need their passion and their leadership as the fight for equal justice goes on. And they have huge wells of passion, but how do we make it relevant today? Just as people seem to have started taking our democracy a little bit for granted, I think people take legal aid a little bit for granted, and we need to make it relevant. We need to make sure that young people understand just how important it is in our communities. So, moving forward, it is an honor to try to serve with you from this different position that I'm in now, but please let me know how I can be helpful, or if I can follow up with anyone that you met while you were on the Hill this week. And I look forward to continuing to work with you all. Thank you.